Go.
Yud Gimel Amud Aleph. The machis basar b'chor, machis basar dehech gabei. He put a b'chor, meat of a b'chor, and put a regular piece of meat. The Omar zeh kazeh, and said this should be like this. The Tanoyi, and we have a machlokas Tanoim whether or not that it should be permitted because right now a kohen can eat it, or whether because a b'chor is a davar anoder and it should be asur. No, the kula amalif neis rikas damim. We view it as if it was before zrikas damim. Well, then we understand why the person would think it would be asur, because it would be like a neder to say it's a b'chor. Umay time of demand is shari. Amar kra ki yidor ad shidor b'davar anoder. Lafuke b'chor the davar asur. Remember, you don't declare a b'chor through a neder. A b'chor is kadosh mimei imo, because it's the firstborn, and you can't make a neder with something that is osir like chazir. You make a neder through something that is nodur. Uman de osir amar krol Hashem. The one who says that if you make a neder with a b'chor, it's okay. It is a neder because it says b'chor l'Hashem or Kidor neder l'Hashem, the rabbi is davar ha'asur. That mandamer holds that even though the kedusha of a b'chor doesn't come through a neder, since it's asur, the neder works. So uman deshari, the one who says that the neder is not a neder, what does he do with the l'Hashem ma'ovid like? That if you say, I want this piece of bread to be also to me like a chatas or an asham. Now, in a sense, a chatas and asham is not a neder. You can't bring a chatas and asham through a neder, like you can a shlomim or an olah. You have to be chayib something to bring a chatas or an asham. So, in fact, the Gemara asks to Mara Yisrael Rabbis chatas v'asham l'hotzi sabachor. Mar bani chatas v'asham shumat this beneder, because you still have to say, oh, I'm going to hareini chatas. You never have to say anything about a b'chor. However, manda osar, the one who says that if you use the language of a b'chor to make a neder, it's a neder. B'chor nami matfisu b'neder. The Tanya, Ishum Rebbe Yomer minan lenodet b'chor b'toch beisu shemitzvah lagdishoy. Even if the animal has a firstborn, you have a chiyuv to declare it. Shenemar hazachar tagdish. You have to say I raise zeh b'chor. So uman deshari, the one who says that it's not a neder, kilo magdish le milo migdish. If you didn't say hareni b'chor, it would still have kedushas b'chor if it comes out as a firstborn. So the Mishnah said ki imra kadirim, like a sheep, like a herd of sheep, you make a neder. Tana imra li imra ki imra, dirim la dirim kadirim, eitzim la eitzim ka eitzim. Ishim la ishim ka ishim, mizbeach la mizbeach ka mizbeach, heichal la heichal ka heichal, Yerushalayim la Yerushalayim ka Yerushalayim. All of these words, kulon, if you add she'oichelacha, like you say, imra she'oichelacha, aser. If you say imra loy oichelacha, mutter. Now, man shamin le, the lo shani le imra le imra ki imra. Who is the Tana that makes no difference whether you say imra le imra ki imra Rab Meir he? It says in all these cases, if you say imra lo eichelacha, you would not be prohibited. Vatnan lekorban lo eichelacha Rab Meir oyster. So if you say Rab Meir, how can you say that Sefer says it's mutter? Ramav Abba Nasiko Amar lekorban ye lefichach lo eichelacha. Lo ikasha hada amar lo leimra, hada amar leimra. Lo leimra. So that's not a korban, but leimra, that's a tzad hegdish. It should be leimra. It should be 4 sheep. Mishnah. Ha'omer korban oila mincha chatas toida shlomim shani oichelacha asr. If you say any of these things, korban shani oichelacha, oila shani oichelacha, then you'd be prohibited to eat the bread. Rabbi Yehuda Matir, Rabbi Yehuda in these cases would say it's not a neder. Ha korban, ki korban, korban she'oichla asr. Then if you say le korban, which means lo le korban, lo oichlacha, Rab Meir oyser. Tani korban, ha korban, ki korban she'oichlacha asr. Stamatanik Rab Meir. The lo yishar le ben imra le imra, who makes no distinction between whether you say imra or le imra. Rab Meir hadik tani ha korban she'oichlacha asr. V'atanya mordim chol Rab Yehuda ba'omer ha korban v'ha oila v'ha mincha v'ha chadash she'oichlacha shemuter. Shlo neder zel b'chaye korban. The mila ha korban is just is not making a neder. Loy kasha. Hada Amar ha korban, that's permitted. Hada Amar, one word ha korban, like with a heya yediyah, my timer. Chaye korban ka orba ktani. Ha korban means in the life of the korban, but not that you made a neder. Tani le korban lo eichelacha. Rab Meir oyser. But Rab Meir does not accept the positive as the opposite of the negative. It should be like a korban, so therefore you don't need it. Mishnah. My mouth should be usher like a korban to speak to you. Yodi, also imcha, my hand should not work for you. Ragli, my foot should not walk with you. In all these cases, usher. There's an aspect of a shvua that's more stringent than a neder, and there's an aspect of a nedarim that is more stringent than b'shvuas. A neder has a chalois even on a mitzvah. Ashenkin b'shvuas, you can't take a shvua to be mevatel a mitzvah. But v'chomer b'shvuas, shvuas chalos al davar sheyesh bo mamish v'shein bo mamish. Shvuas have a chalos on something that exists and something that doesn't exist. Mashenkin b'nedarim. So how can you say in our mission that a neder on a dibur, which is not something that has mamish? Rav Yehuda ba'omer ye'aser pila diburi. You're making a neder on your mouth, not on the words. Or yadai lemaseyam, or my arm to do its work. Or raglai lelucham. Dekanami ditani pi medaber imcha. V'lo ktani shani medaber imcha. So the neder's on your mouth, which is davar sheyesh lo b'mamish. Harla kolkinu, harla kolkinu, harla kolkinu. Mishnah. Perek Sheni. Ve'elu mutorim. The following are statements that do not create a neder. Chulin sha'oichelecha. This piece of bread should be more like chulin. Well, chulin is not prohibited. Now, if you say this bread should be like, to me, like basar chazir. Now, the meat of chazir is prohibited, but it's not a davar hanodur. It's a davar ha'osir, and you can only make a neder with a davar hanodur. Or if you say kavod zara, or ka'oris levuvim, the hearts of a behemoth which is worshipped for avodah zarah, kinevelus utrefus, which of course are osir, kishkotzim ramashim, which are osir. If you use any of these languages to make a neder, it's all mutter. Kechalos ara mechutrumasa. These things are also for non-Kohanim, but they're not a davar hanodur. They're things that are mafresh, mutter. You will be prohibited to me like my mother is prohibited to me. Well, it's a davar ha'osir, not a davar hanodur. So technically, it's not a neder. But poiskin lo pesach l'mokamach shlo yakel rosh l'kach. We undo the neder through a technique called mimokamach here, because we don't want him to be motzi such a word kadesh lo yakel rosh l'kach, and you'll come to be mezalzel b'nedorim.
So he's doing the same thing when he says davar also like chazer. That's also a lightheaded. That's also, I mean, a neder supposedly, even though it means nothing. It's also a neder that
not
is
a neder. It's not a neder.
No, but it's
the last case is not a neder either.
So why do we say shlo yakel rosh l'kach also?
Even though the neder is really not a neder, because he was matfis b'davar ha'osir and not b'davar ha'nod.
Right. Right.
We don't say it's completely permitted. We treat it as if it's a neder, and we annul it through a pesach because we don't want to be mezalzel. We're not concerned by the other cases as we are with the last case. The Gemara will explain why.
Okay.
Ha'omer lo chulin shoich lecha. Mashma would mean lo lechulin lehavi ele korban. It should not be like chulin, but rather it should be korban. And therefore, the bread would be osir, because it's a davar hanodur. Mani masnisim. So then who is the Tan of our Mishnah? Irab meir halas lemech lalav atashveh. You can't deduce the positive from the negative. El Rab Yehuda, hainu reisha. The reisha is all the sheet of Rab Yehuda. Who that you from Michlal Lavat Hashomeah. And he's in the previous mission when we said Lachulin, that was the name of Rav Yehuda. So the Gemara answers, I did diktoni k'psar chazer kavod zara, and we say that doesn't work. Lachiktani chulin. That's why it mentioned also chulin, even though it's not needed. It was already learned before by Rabbi Yehuda, but it included a complete list. Okay, we'll stop here.
Go ahead, Ernie.
We're going to call the